Hi HCGers, HCG Berry Babe. Surprise, surprise, it's not been a month. Things are looking up. I'm hoping things are picking up, and I'm hoping the weight's going to be dropping down. Just to bring you up to date, I had surgery on my second thigh on 8/29, and at that time I was, I weighed in at the doctor's at 158. That was naked with my stomach empty before surgery, which was just exactly right because I'd been 155 when I'd gone in for my first leg, and I still was holding fluid. And I still am holding some fluid. A few weeks ago, the doctor said he thought perhaps over the course of several months I would drop 8 to 9 pounds of fluid. And it's only been since the end of August, so September, October. So I still am holding probably some water weight, and that skews things somewhat. But I was on pellets until the surgery, and then the day of the surgery I went off and did not do P3, and slowly started to eat. I kind of stayed mop, and then I started adding things in, and then I got into the crap. And before I knew it, I was up. My highest was 174.6, 174.7. So then I would be mop for a few days, sort of, and I'd come down a little bit into the 160s. And one day I went from 166.1 to 160.6, but the next day I was back up to 166, so I think that was a fluke. So I've been keeping track, but as a lot of you know, usually when I'm doing weight in the P2 losing, I like to put it on a graph. And I don't know, for some reason I didn't graph it, and so I wasn't focused on the down line. Now, someone recently said to me, "You are so focused on the numbers," but you know, I've been dieting for 50 years, and I don't have any sense of, you know, like the trust your body thing. I don't have any. I was scrawny as a child, and then when I was born, and then by the time I was 5, I was chunky, and I was chunky ever since. So I've gone back to the graph. And just a minute. Would you close my door, please? Thank you. I can't think with the door open. Okay, so yesterday I printed the graph. I was at 171.4. Today, 170.3. I've not been mop like I like to be mop, but there has been a slowing down of the screaming eat me's. In that, you know, I had talked a little bit about the cognitive behavior therapy, trying to reframe, and I know so much of what I should do, but I have so many ingrained bad habits. You know, over the years of dieting, I'd wake up, I'd be on a diet, and I'd wake up and I'd eat crap, and then it'd be like, oh, I was on a diet. The bad eating was so second nature that, you know, so it's been all my life. I've been either losing or gaining, and I'm getting down to the point where I'm really trying to get to the bottom and maintain. So what works for me is focusing on the numbers, and I've looked at the charts, and I turned 60 this summer, and so good news or bad news, once you hit 60, it throws you into the range of 60 through death. And so all of a sudden you automatically get permission to weigh several pounds more and carry several more percents of fat, and I'm not buying it. So when I'm looking back in that 40s and 50s range, because I'm not ready to be 80 years old. So, and if 60 is the new 40, You know, I'm just getting into this thin body. I gotta have some years. You can't rush me into the grave. So while I don't expect to be able to be as lean as a 20 or 30-year-old or even as a 40-year-old, I'm not ready to be as, I don't know, soft and doughy as many seniors are. Super seniors, 80s. So, you know, when you hit 60, my mother died at 77, and so I'm thinking, okay, 17 years, is that what I have left? My maternal grandmother lived to be 96, so I don't know what's in my genes. My body type is a lot like my mother's, and a lot of my medical problems have mirrored my mother. She was heavy for a lot of years, but not as big as me, and didn't fluctuate as much as I have. So in terms of what I've screwed up in my body, who knows? But getting back to the cognitive behavior therapy where, okay, you've got your plan, and pretty much on MOP I know what's allowed and what's not. And when I'm looking at pushing it a little, eating more than I should of even a MOP okay thing, or even something that's okay for my surgery but really is not what I would choose to eat on my MOP, now I stop and think, what's your line going to look at like in the morning? You know, are you going to be able, it's not just, is the scale it's going to go down, because I do a graph, and then I have a chart where I just put the day, what date I am in the cycle, the current weight, down that day, what the total weight is, and I'm just taking it from yesterday, and then what time I weighed, because if I get up at 5 and weigh, I'm going to weigh a lot more than I will if I go back to bed and sleep till 11. So that makes a difference. And then this morning I did my fat percentage, which was 33.9, and that is, in looking at the scale, at the chart for the 60-year-olds, that's at the very top. My BMI at 170.3 for my 5'8" is over the normal range, just a little bit over. So my plastic surgeon had wanted me to stop at 165, but I'm not, you know, I just noticed I was starting to get my collarbones back. And, you know, when I get to 160, I start to lose some of this waddle. And so, but when I get to 155, the skin on my forearm starts to get drapey and crepey. So it's kind of a trade-off, but the problem is, since I've been low, like to the 155, I was actually 153 once for a few hours, but I've been at 155 twice at least. My body liked it there. I don't know about going lower, but it liked it there. So then when I put on anything, or if I got bloated, or if I was holding water, I felt so fat. My legs are thin, my arms are thin now, even though I have skin that hangs. There's not much fat in it, but I still have a middle. I had a tummy tuck, so I don't have a lower big hanging, I don't know, panicula or panty is kind of the apron. But even though I had a little bit of tucking done in the midriff, this midriff area is still too much skin. And there's some fat in it, but not a lot of fat. But any fat I have, that's kind of where it is. And right a little bit here, a little bit under here. So I'm kind of rambling, but you know, I have been faithful to weighing. And Robin, bless her heart, thinks you shouldn't weigh. And isn't it wonderful if you can do what you know you need to do and trust that what you do will give you what you need? But I'm not there yet. I think eventually I may get there. Because just things like looking at portions, you know, I've had 3 bariatric surgeries, and that has involved, I can't eat great big super portions of things. And so when I see people, there's a restaurant locally called Tony's, And it's even been on one of those big man eating places, because they like deep fry a pound of bacon, and that's what they put on their BLTs. And so I was in there 30 years ago, but I haven't been in because I had my first surgery in 95. And when you get, I'm sorry if this is kind of food porn, you know, fish and chips is one thing I love, fried fish and chips, and there's like 3 huge fillets, and then probably, if I said a dinner platter of French fries is what they give you, and that's what they serve you, one person. And so there's no way. So I can't, you know, the Friday night all you can eat, what a joke, because I can hardly eat what they served the first time. So my eyes have adjusted in terms of portions. I still sometimes overeat, but not, you know, when I look at 3 hamburgers or something like that, it's like, oh my God, no, I can't do that. My stomach just won't do that, and my body has learned that. So I do feel crappy when I eat crap. And I know Susie talks about how when she eats wheat and sugar together, she gets sick. And I'm not that tuned in. I don't have that specific issue, but the sugar makes me bloat. And if I don't get enough protein, that makes me bloat, makes me hold water. And so if I don't do my supplemental protein, which my surgery requires, then my body says you're not getting enough protein, and it starts holding water. And of course, when I'm eating crap, I'm less likely to do the supplemental protein, which is not that pleasant to take. And then it becomes kind of a vicious cycle, because then the cravings get started and I get so food focused. And so that's where I am. I'm hoping that in the morning, when I wake up, I can have at least an even, if not a down. I'm so close to getting back into the 160s again that I don't like being in the 170s. It scares me. And I don't really like being in the 160s. I'd like to be 155 and panic when I get to 160, instead of panicking when I'm at 170 and then topping at 175. That's too close to 200. And you know, that 200's a bugger. Joanne, that 200's a bugger. I know. Took me, you know, I put on Facebook today that it took me 3 bariatric surgeries and HCG and a tummy tuck to break below 200 and stay there. So even though there's 1 pound difference between 199 and 200, there's a world of difference. And the thought of ever being out of Wonderland again is just so frightening to me. And that's, I kind of had gotten off track. I did record my weight every day, mostly, because if I didn't even do that, it's so easy to go into that brainless, mindless, eating, pushing everything away, you know, kind of a thing. It's one thing to say, oh, if I eat this, I'll be fat. But it's another thing to say, if I eat this, my line will go up. For some reason, the line going up is a here and a now, and the fat is so far in the future. So I've rambled, and I apologize for that. But I guess I felt like everything I said was relevant. And I'm just hoping I'm at 14 minutes, and I'm hoping that I can upload this without losing some of it. So that's all for now. Hope you all are doing well. Bye-bye.